I never thought I'd hear those words at my own daughter's engagement party. Only important people, Chad sneered, his voice slicing through the crystal clink of champagne flutes like a razor through silk, his eyes flicking over me like I was yesterday's help. In that instant, as Emily's face drained of color and the $100,000 wedding I'd mortgaged my soul for evaporated into humiliated silence, I made a vow. I'd burn his world down from the inside. But vows are cheap. What came next was impossible, a glitch in reality. A cosmic joke that swapped our skins overnight, leaving me trapped in his polished shell, his silver spoon still warm in my mouth, plotting the kind of revenge that doesn't just sting, it scars. The air in that Tribeca loft smelled like money and regret, fresh orchids from the florist who'd overcharged me by $5,000, catered sliders from some Michelin-starred hole-in-the-wall that Chad insisted on because Emily deserves the best, even if her family's scraping by. I'd sold my grandmother's heirloom ring to cover the deposit, the one she'd worn through the Depression, whispering to me as a kid that real value wasn't in gold, but in holding your head high when the world tried to knock it off. Now here I was, Alexis Harper, 48 and fraying at the edges, nodding along like a bobblehead while Chad Harrington III held court. He was everything I was in Yale pedigree, trust fund thicker than the Manhattan phone book, the kind of jawline that landed him on the cover of Forbes under 30 before he'd even closed his first deal. Emily, my Emily, with her soft curls and dreams of a life bigger than the Queen's row house we'd shared since her dad bailed, was besotted. He's changing the world. Mom, she'd gush, showing me apps he'd prototyped for disrupting philanthropy, whatever the hell that meant. I saw the red flags, the way he'd glance at his Rolex mid-sentence, the offhand comments about old money versus new, the fact that he'd never once asked about my job at the ad agency, where I hustled copy for detergent brands to keep the lights on. The party was his show, of course. His parents' friends, silver-haired VCs in Tom Ford, wives dripping emeralds milled about, air-kissing like they were in a Scorsese flick. Emily hovered near the bar, radiant in that pale blue sheath I'd found on sale at Macy's. Her engagement ring, a flawless solitaire that could choke a horse, catching the light like a taunt. I'd footed half the bill for that rock. 2. Wiring funds from my savings when Chad forgot his share. Family first, I'd told myself, ignoring the overdraft fees piling up like autumn leaves. Then it happened. We were at the long oak table, finalizing the guest list over artisanal charcuterie that cost more per pound than my weekly grocery run. Chad sprawled like he owned the joint, which, technically, his daddy's firm did own the building. Scan the spreadsheet on his MacBook. Emily. Babe. We've got to trim this fat. 300 heads? That's a fire hazard and a budget buster. She laughed nervously, squeezing my hand under the table. I forced a smile, but my nails dug into her palm. Don't push back. Kiddo. Not yet. He scrolled, then paused, his finger hovering over a cluster of names. Aunt Rita from Buffalo, Cousin Jake, the mechanic, my book club ladies who'd chipped in for the cake. These? No. Only important people. The words landed like a gut punch, casual as ordering takeout, but laced with that Harrington frost, implying we, the Harpers, were the chaff. Emily's squeeze turned to a vice. Chad. Their family, she whispered, voice cracking like thin ice. He shrugged, not even looking up. Exactly. And this is our day. Eminencia. Not a high school reunion. The room didn't freeze. It thawed into awkward chatter, guests pretending not to hear as they topped off their view of Cliquot. His mother, Victoria, with her Botox-smooth forehead and a laugh like shattering glass, chimed in, "Darling, she's right. Keep it exclusive. We don't want the riffraff diluting the vibe." Riffraff.
Me.
The woman who'd raised Emily solo, worked doubles, cheered at every ballet recital. I felt it then, that deep betrayal uncoiling in my chest, not just his, but hers, for not defending us harder, for choosing his world over ours. I excused myself to the powder room, splashing water on my face, staring at the woman in the mirror, crow's feet from too many unpaid bills, lips thinned by years of biting my tongue. "You're better than this," I muttered, but the lie tasted bitter. Back in the loft, Emily cornered me by the balcony doors, city lights smearing the glass like oil on water.
Mom.
"It's just stress. He'll come around," her eyes pleaded. "Don't ruin this. Don't be the crazy mom from the rom-coms." I nodded, swallowing the shards. But inside, something snapped. Not rage.
Not yet.
Resolve. I'd make him pay. Not with screams or scenes, but with the quiet precision of a woman who'd learned to survive on scraps. That night, alone in my shoebox apartment, I couldn't sleep. The city's hum mocked me through the fire escape, honks from cabs ferrying drunks home, sirens wailing like banshees. I poured a glass of the cheap Merlot I'd stashed, scrolling wedding Pinterest boards Emily had shared. Each one a stab, cascading florals, string quartets, a venue in the Hamptons that Chad had upgraded to without asking. $100,000. My entire 401k, plus loans against the house. For what? To be deemed unimportant? That's when the package arrived. No knock. Just a plain brown box on the stoop, addressed in spidery script, for Alexis Harper. What was taken will be returned.
Inside.
Wrapped in faded velvet, a pocket watch antique, tarnished brass, engraved with a serpent eating its tail. No note. No sender. I turned it over, the tick echoing like a heartbeat out of sync. A gift from Aunt Rita? She'd always dabbled in old country lore, crystals and curses from her Polish roots. Curiosity one. I wounded. The chimes soft and sinister, like wind through graveyard pines. I blacked out. Or dreamed. Woke gasping. Sheets tangled. The watch clutched in my fist. Dawn bled through the blinds, gray and unforgiving. Emily's text buzzed. "Mom. Brunch at 11? Chad's excited to talk in bites. Excited.
Right.
I dragged myself up, head pounding like a bad hangover, and stumbled to the bathroom. The mirror fogged from the shower I'd forgotten running. I wiped it clear and screamed. It wasn't my face staring back. Sharp cheekbones, blonde stubble shadowing a jaw that could cut glass, blue eyes cold as a winter Hudson.
Chad.
I touched his cheek, felt the unfamiliar prickle, the cologne that smelled like old money and entitlement. "What the fuck?" The voice boomed out, baritone and smooth, not my alto rasp honed by years of yelling over subway din. I yanked at the towel, revealing a body sculpted by personal trainers and privilege, lean abs, a tattoo of some Latin motto on the ribs, Fortuna audis juvat. Fortune favors the bold. His hands, trembled as I rifled the medicine cabinet. Aftershave. Rogaine, Vanity. A vial of something blue and illicit. Viagra? No. Worse, testosterone boosters. The kind that fueled his alpha bullshit. His phone, lit up on the sink. Missed calls from Victoria. A sext from some intern named Brooke. And Emily. Where are you? Running late? Heart slamming. I dressed in his walk-in closet. Armani slacks that hung perfect. A button-down that screamed boardroom. The loft downtown. Keys in the dish. I drove his Audi south. Autopilot kicking in. Muscle memory, not mine.
Parked in the garage.
Rode the elevator up. The doorman nodding like I belonged. Emily opened the door to the brunch spot. A sun-drenched cafe in Soho. Her smile faltering. Babe, you look
Off.
I forced his grin. That trademark smirk. Just tired.
Imminência.
Big merger yesterday. Lies flowed easy in his skin, oiled by years of boardroom BS. We sat, mimosas bubbling, and she launched in. About the list, Mom was upset. Can we add her friends back? Upset. Understatement. I nodded. Throat tight. Of course. Whatever makes you happy. But inside. Alexis seethed. This is just the start. You smug prick. Wherever you are in my body, enjoy the hangover. It's nothing compared to what's coming. The day blurred. Meetings at his firm. Handshakes with suits who eyed me like fresh meat. Lunches where deals were sealed over steak tartare. I played the part, nodding at jargon disruptors. Synergies, while mapping his empire. Harrington Holdings, real estate behemoths. Political donations that bought senators. Skeletons in offshore accounts I'd sniff out later. By evening, back in the loft, I poured scotch from his decanter. The burn familiar yet foreign. The watch, my watch, ticked on the nightstand, serpent glinting. A curse? A gift? Didn't matter. Betrayal like his demanded more than words. It demanded dismantling. That night, as Emily curled against me, in silk sheets that cost more than my rent, whispering dreams of Hampton's honeymoons, I plotted. Step 1, the wedding. I'd vanish it, not with a check or a call, but by unraveling the threads he'd woven so tight. Vendors first, caterer, florist, the band. Anonymous emails from a burner app on his phone, citing budget reallocations and creative differences. By dawn, confirmations rolled in, deposits refunded, contracts voided.
Poof.
$100,000 dream. Gone like smoke. But that was small potatoes. The real revenge? Exposing the man beneath the polish. Chad wasn't just a snob, he was a thief. I'd overheard whispers at the party, insider trades. A whistleblower hushed with NDAs and accidents. In his body, I had access. Servers. Vaults. The kind of dirt that toppled tycoons. And the secret he'd buried deepest? The one I'd borne for him without knowing. It started 6 months back. A rainy Tuesday when Emily came home bruised. Not from a fall, but from Chad's passion play during a fight. She'd lied to me, tripped at the gym, and I'd believed her, chalking it up to wedding jitters.
But now,
scrolling his encrypted drive, I found the videos, grainy clips of him cornering her. Words like weapons. You're nothing without me.
Imminência.
Rage boiled. Hot and holy. He'd made me the villain in her eyes once, gaslighting her into thinking I was overbearing. But this was the crime I'd shouldered unknowingly. Her silence. Her shame. All pinned on my interference. I forwarded the files to an anonymous tip line, SEC. No less, tagging his name. Let the feds feast. Then, a call to Emily. Voice steady in his timbre. Babe, We need to talk. The wedding. It's off. Her gasp echoed through the line.
What?
Why? Because I'm not the man you think.
Click.
Let her wonder. Let him. Trapped in my frumpy frame. Explain when the cops came knocking. Sleep came fitful. His body restless. Dreams of serpents coiling around throats. Morning brought chaos. Victoria's tirade. What do you mean cancelled? The governor's RSVP'd. Emily's texts exploding like fireworks. WTF, Chad? Mom's devastated. Devastated? Try liberated. I drove to the agency, my agency, parked blocks away. Watched from a coffee shop as Alexis arrived, disheveled in my clothes. Fumbling keys. Eyes wild. Was that him? Panicking in my skin. My life, good. Taste the smallness. The swap's mechanics eluded me. The watch's tick. A full moon? Aunt Rita's lore? But its purpose was clear. Justice. Served raw. By noon, news alerts pinged. Harrington Holdings under investigation. Stock dipping like a stone. Chad's empire. Cracking. I met with his inner circle sleazy lawyers. Ambitious VPs, greenlighting audits that'd unearth the rot. Transparency, I said, his voice dripping sincerity. They bought it. Hook and sinker. Emily called again.
Sobbing.
Mom said you're breaking it off. Is it her? Does she hate you that much?
Hate? No. Kiddo.
Love like a mother's, fierce. Unyielding. It's me.
Eminência.
Always was. I hung up. Gut twisting. Collateral damage. But necessary. The betrayal ran bone deep. Not just the slight. But the way he'd chipped at her spirit. Made her doubt her worth. I'd borne that mistake. Raising a girl who apologized for existing. All because I'd trusted him with her heart. Afternoon bled into strategy. I hit the gym, his gym, pounding the treadmill. Sweat-stinging eyes that weren't mine. Endorphins sharpened the plan, leverage his power against him. A gala that night. Black tie fundraiser for some pack he'd funneled dirty money through. I'd go. Charm the elite. Then drop the bomb. Whispers of scandal. Enough to spook investors. By midnight, as champagne flowed and jazz crooned, I cornered a reporter from the Post, the kind who lived for Wall Street implosions. Off the record, Harrington's cooking books. Check the Caymans. Her eyes lit, predator scenting blood. Home, no. His penthouse, Emily waited, red-eyed. My old cardigan draped over her shoulders. Talk to me. We sat on the terrace. Skyline indifferent. I wove half-truths in his cadence. Doubts. Pressures. How the wedding exposed his flaws. She nodded. Tears tracing mascara rivers. I thought you loved me. I do. That's why I'm letting go.
Lies. All.
But they freed her. As she left, hugging me goodbye, I felt the first crack in the facade. Guilt. Sharp as glass. Was this revenge or ruin? The watch ticked louder. Mocking. 2 days in his skin. And the high was fading. Reports of Alexis Harper causing scenes at work. Him. Flailing in my heels, filtered in via concerned colleagues' texts. Let him squirm. But deeper. The secret gnawed. Why me? Why now? A memory surfaced. Not mine. Flashes of Chad at a estate sale. Buying the watch from a witchy old broad for a lark. Mocking her warnings. Curses are for suckers. Karma's a bitch. Buddy. Night 3. Escalation. I wired funds, his funds, to Emily's account. anonymous, enough for a fresh start. Then, the controversial call to his father, Harrington Sr., voice laced with feigned remorse.
Dad.
I can't do this. The company's toxic. I'm coming clean. His gasp was priceless, apoplexy over speakerphone. You little shit. After everything? Everything, the grooming. The grooming, wait.
No.
The files I'd skimmed. Senior's own skeletons. Affairs. Embezzlement. Father like son. I leaked those too. To the same reporter. Family implosion. Courtesy of Chad. By week's end, the wedding was a ghost, vendors suing, guests gossiping, Emily retreating to my apartment, where Alexis, him, paced like a caged animal. I watched from afar, his body a perfect disguise. But the tension coiled tighter, Victoria's private eye sniffing around, questions about imposter vibes. Time ticking down. The climax brewed, not a bang, but a slow bleed. Power's a drug, and in Chad's veins. It coursed like heroin, euphoric, addictive, blind to the crash. A week blurred into two, his life a labyrinth I navigated with increasing ease. Dawn runs along the High Line, where joggers nodded at Chad, like he was the sun, power breakfasts at Jean Georges, sealing alliances over Eggs Benedict, evenings in leather-bound clubs, cigars curling smoke signals of backroom deals. But beneath the gloss, I was eroding foundations, subtle hacks to ledgers, accidental forwards to regulators, whispers in ears that turned to shouts in headlines. Harrington Air under scrutiny, insider trading allegations rock empire. The Post ate it up. Victoria's frantic calls a symphony of denial. Emily, bless her, was rebuilding. Text from her, Mom's acting weird, but we're okay. Thanks for the mystery deposit. Starting over feels.
Right. Right.
I'd gutted her dream, but planted seeds of steel. She enrolled in night classes, graphic design at Parsons, the kind of bold move I'd always nudged her toward. No more princess, a queen in waiting. But guilt gnawed. Had I stolen her agency? Puppeteering from his shadow. Controversial. Sure, a mother meddling to save her daughter. Crossing lines that blurred love and control. America loves its vigilantes, but hates the fallout when the guns turned inward. The swap's mechanics haunted me. Nights, I'd win the watch. Its Ouroboros mocking eternal cycles, and probe memories bleeding through. Chad's childhood, silver-spooned in Hampton's estates. Senior. Barking orders like a drill sergeant. Victoria cooing poison. You're better than them. Darling. Don't slum. Flashes of Emily's first date. Him calculating her potential like a merger. And darker. The night he'd roughed her up. Post-argument over my meddling. His fist connecting not hard enough to bruise deep, but enough to terrify. She'd hidden it. Borne the shame. And I'd shouldered the echo. Her withdrawal. The therapy sessions I paid for. Chalking it to cold feet. His crime. My burden. Unwitting accomplice in her silence. I decided then, expose it all. Not just finances, but the man. A late-night drive to Queens. His Audi purring like a panther. Parking curbside to my building. Peered up, lights on in my window. Alexis pacing. Gesturing wildly to shadows. Him. Unraveling.
Good.
I slipped in through the alley. Picked the lock with a credit card, his platinum. Naturally. And waited in the stairwell. Footsteps. clomping in my sensible flats. Then the door creaked. Himi entered, muttering curses in my voice, hoarse from yelling at mirrors. Chad. I stepped out, his own face twisting in horror. You. He lunged, but I sidestepped. Years of self-defense classes from when Emily's dad turned mean paying off. We grappled, surreal, like wrestling a distorted self, his borrowed hands clawing at his throat. What the hell did you do? Give it back. The watch? It's not yours anymore. I pinned him against the fridge, magnets of Emily's childhood art clattering. You said it yourself, only important people. Turns out, Karma's got a guest list. He spat, my spit frothing. This is insane. Some witch's trick. I bought it for a joke. Emily thinks you're crazy. You know. Ranting about curses. Trying to cancel the wedding from my phone.
Ah.
The threads he'd pulled, impersonating me online. Sowing doubt. Cunning bastard. But his eyes, my eyes, darted. Fear cracking the facade.
Please.
My life's falling apart. Dad's cutting me off. The feds are circling. Fix it. Empathy flickered, Stockholm in reverse, but I quashed it. Your life? Try mine. Scraping by. Watching your golden boy bruise my girl and call it love. You buried that secret deep. Made me the fall guy for her pain. No more. His laugh was bitter, echoing off peeling wallpaper. Bruise? It was one time. She overreacted. Like you. Always playing victim.
Victim.
The word ignited. I shoved harder, his skull thumping Formica. One time too many. And now, you're the victim in Alexis Harper's broke-ass life. Enjoy the bus rides, the ramen dinners. Maybe you'll learn humility. We broke apart, breathing ragged. He slumped, suddenly small in my frame. What do you want? Money? The company? Justice. I straightened his no. My blouse.
Confess.
To Emily. To the world. The trades. The temper. Or I keep digging your little side pieces. The coke-fueled weekends in Miami. I am you now. Your power's mine. He nodded. Broken.
Fine.
But the watch, it's tied. Swap back after. Liar. But I played along, leaving him curled on the linoleum, the serpent's tick fading as I slipped out. Back in the penthouse, high above the fray, I escalated. Controversial move, too, seduced the truth from Victoria. Dinner at La Bernardine. Her favorite, lobster thermidor and lies. Mother, I drawled, swirling Pinot. Chad's confiding in me. The family's complicated. Her Botox twitched. What do you mean? Darling. I leaned in, his charm a weapon. The affairs.
Seniors.
Yours. And the cover-up, that intern who quit after the Hamptons party? Not voluntary. Her fork clattered. Blanched. How? Doesn't matter. I know. And unless you back off Emily, fund her new life. No strings, I go public. Family first. Right? She agreed. Venomous. Wiring funds by dessert. Powers flip. The matriarch. Neutered. But the antagonist in Chad ran deeper than I knew. Mornings brought paranoia, shadowy figures tailing the Audi. His security detail now watching me. I countered. Hired my own PI. A grizzled ex-cop from the agency days. Feeding him crumbs to trace the watch's origins. Black market? Ma'am,
Sir.
Cursed relic from Eastern Europe. Swaps souls on betrayal's edge. Rare, but real.
Real.
In a world of algorithms and apps. A fucking curse. Aunt Rita's doing? She'd vanished post-party. Phone disconnected. Protector or puppeteer. Emily's birthday loomed. Month 3 in his skin. The swap holding like a bad weld. I threw the party he would've. Intimate. A-list. At the Polo Lounge. But twisted. Invites to the unimportance. My book club. Jake, the mechanic. Rita if I could find her. Emily arrived wary. Victoria in tow. Forced smile like a rictus. Chad. This is eclectic. I grinned. Expanding horizons. Vic. Toasts rang, Emily's eyes lighting as Jake regaled with shop stories. The women cackling over wine. No snubs. No tears.
Just people.
Midway, Chad crashed in my body. Disheveled. Reeking of cheap bourbon.
Ew.
He staggered forward. Gasps rippled. She froze. Mom, the room spun. I intercepted. Hissing in his ear. Not yet. But he shoved past, grabbing her arm. It's me.
Chad.
This imposter, your mom, she's ruining everything. Chaos. Victoria shrieking for security. Guests filming on iPhones. Emily wrenched free. Eyes darting between us, me in his suit, him in my muumuu. What the hell is going on? I pulled her aside. Voice low. He's lying. Baby. He's the one who's been different, but doubt-seated. Controversial. Pitting them against each other. Mother versus lover in swapped shells. Cops came, anonymous tip. No doubt his. Handcuffs clicked on my wrists as Alexis, him ranting about body swaps. Curses. Delusional. Victoria sneered to the press outside. Harrington Sion's mother-in-law to be arrested in bizarre rant. My crime. Born again. The fall for his madness. Bail was swift, his lawyers. My tools now. Released to the loft. Alone. The watch's tick thundered. He'd planned this, used the swap against me. Framing the crazy mom. Mountebank. But I had cards left. From jail. I'd texted the PI. Dig deeper. Results hit at dawn. The secret reversed. The watch wasn't chance. Chad had sought it. Consulting dark web forums on soul transference after a deal gone south. Revenge on a rival who'd stolen his girl in college. Tested it once. Swapped with a hooker for a night of anonymity. Then, eyeing me, the obstacle to total control over Emily. Eliminate the mother. Forum post read. He'd spiked my drink at the party. Watch in my purse. Engineered the swap. Not betrayal's victim. Architect. I'd borne his crime unknowingly. The setup. The frame. Rage purified. Climax brewed. Not destruction. But inversion. I'd become the power he craved. Dismantle from the throne. The city never sleeps. But in those pre-dawn hours, it whispers secrets, tires hissing on wet pavement, distant arguments bleeding from open windows, the Hudson lapping like a tongue against concrete pilings. I sat on the penthouse balcony, Chad's monogrammed robe loose around shoulders that felt less alien by the day, nursing black coffee laced with his single malt. The arrest was a blip, dismissed as mental health episode, his PR machine spinning it into sympathy fodder, but the damage festered. Emily's texts had gone cold. Need space. This is too much. Victoria's voicemails dripped acid. Fix your mess. or you're out. And him, back in my apartment. No doubt scheming. The watch's bond fraying but unbroken. I traced the Ouroboros on its face. Brass warm as fevered skin. The PI's dossier painted Chad not as heir, but Hydra, layers of deceit, from juiced college admissions to a slush fund for disappearing liabilities. The intern, not quit, paid off, with threats. And Emily's bruise?
Pattern.
Not anomaly. Hidden files on his cloud, photos, timestamps, alibis fabricated. He'd made me the scapegoat, feeding her lies, your mom's paranoid, projecting her failures. Deep betrayal. Yes, but engineered. I gambled my savings,
My sanity.
on a man who'd weaponized my love. Controversial decision 3. Go nuclear. Not with leaks, that was child's play, but infiltration. His board meeting loomed. Quarterly review at Harrington Tower. Glass monolith piercing midtown like a stiletto. I arrived early. Chad in bespoke Zegna. Briefcase heavy with forged docs, balance sheets doctored to show embezzlement. His signature digital forged via app. Sat at the head, surveying the suits, graying lions who'd clawed their way up. Now pray. Gentlemen, I opened. Voice honed to his timbre. Transparency time.
I've
Redirected funds. Personal use. Murmurs rippled. Senior. Wasn't there golf in Palm Beach, but his proxy, Uncle Walt, leaned forward, cigar stub clenched. What the hell?
boy.
How much? I slid the ledger across mahogany. Enough to sink us if it leaks. But I'm confessing. Clean slate. Eyes widened, shock. Calculation. Walt's face purpled. You're firing yourself? Resigning?
Worse.
Dissolving key assets. The Cayman shells. The PAC donations, all frozen. Pending audit. Pandemonium, shouts of treason. Calls for security. But I held firm. His arrogance my shield. Call it ethics. Or call Dad. Your choice. By lunch, the board fractured, allies peeling away. Stocks tumbling 15% on rumor alone. I leaked the confession anonymously. Harrington Air confesses embezzlement in shocking boardroom revolt. CNBC looped it. Pundits frothing. Is this the end of an era? Or a savvy pivot? Pivot my ass. Ruin.
Pure.
Emily reached out that afternoon. Voice small over coffee at a neutral spot, Bryant Park. Leaves swirling like confetti in defeat.
Chad.
Or whoever. I saw the news. It's you, isn't it, Mom? Her eyes searched mine, his eyes, pleading for truth amid madness. I nodded.
Slow.
The watch.
Eminencia.
He rigged it. Swapped us to break you.
Control everything.
I took it back. For us. Tears welled. But the wedding? You canceled it. From his side. To free you. He hurt you more than once. I saw the proof. Borne it in silence. Thinking it was jitters. My mistake. She recoiled. You spied? In his body? That's wrong. Controversial. Yes. Violation dressed as salvation. American as apple pie and privacy lawsuits. Wrong keeps you safe? He was poison. Baby. The snobbery was symptom. The violence. The core. We sat. Pigeons strutting judgment. As she unpacked the gaslighting, the isolation. How he'd whispered I was toxic.
Reverse now, me.
The intruder. But a spark. I believe you. Sort of.
What now?
Now, we end it. I handed her the watch. Confront him. Together. Her nod was tentative, but steel glinted. Mother-daughter alliance. Forged in fire. The climax unfolded at dusk. My old row house, neutral ground. Ghosts of better days in the wallpapers fade. Chad waited inside. Alexis perched on the sofa, twitchy as a cornered rat. Rita was there too, summoned by Emily's call. Her lined face serene, shawl smelling of sage and regret. Niece, she greeted me. Eyes on the body, not the soul. The serpent chose well. He bolted up.
Ink.
Thank God. This witch, your aunt, she's behind it. Gave me the watch. Said it'd balance scales. Rita chuckled.
Low.
You sought balance.
Boy.
For your rival's slight? I warned. It binds betrayers. Emily clutched the relic. Show me. The videos. Everything. He deflated. Spilling. Arrogance cracked. The swap. Dose my champagne. Watch planted. Planning to frame crazy Alexis for sabotage. Then swap back.
Hero.
Emily's bruises. Control slips. The wedding slight? Test balloon. Gauging her loyalty. You were collateral. Alexis. In the way. Rage crested. I lunged, not violence.
But the watch.
Wrenching it from Emily. Smashing it against the hearth. Gears exploded. Brass shards flying like shrapnel. A wind howled unnatural. Rattling windows, then silence. Pain lanced, bodies inverting. Souls snapping back. I gasped. Me again, curves and calluses. Familiar ache in my lower back. Chad slumped. Himself, pale. Sweating. No, but too late. Emily stared. Horror dawning. You monster. Cops? No need. Rita's lore had contingencies, a hidden recorder in her shawl, capturing his confession crystal clear. We played it for the feds next morning. Embezzlement, assault admissions, swap schematics from his laptop. Victoria swooped in. Lawyer legion. But the tide turned.
Senior.
Disowned him publicly, no son of mine. Empire crumbling as partners fled. Revenge's high, Chad in cuffs. Led from the house. His glare promising hell. But the twist loomed. Serpent's tail biting. Aftermath's a bitch, cleaner than the crime. But stickier. Clinging like humidity after storm. Chad's arraignment hit the tabloids. Tech airs fall, from fiancé to felon. Assault charges stuck. Emily's testimony, bolstered by those damning clips, painted him not golden boy, but gilded abuser. The SEC pounced on financials. By spring, Harrington Holdings filed Chapter 11.
Senior.
Golfing into obscurity. Victoria auctioning Park Avenue furs to fund defenses.
Me?
Alexis Harper. Back in my skin. Scars itching like fresh ink. The mortgage foreclosure notice on the fridge. Agency's pink slip for unreliable attendance. But Emily, my girl, thrived. Parsons scholarship. Courtesy of an anonymous donor. Victoria's hush money. Laundered through Rita. We rebuilt slow. Movie nights in the row house. Takeout Thai instead of teppanyaki. Her laughter thawing the frost he'd left. You saved me, Mom, she'd say. But her eyes held shadows, trust fractured. Not just by him,
but me.
The meddling, the possession. Controversial to the end, was I avenger or abuser? wielding his body like a borrowed gun. Forums buzzed, Reddit threads dissecting the Harper Harrington curse, half hailing me vigilante mom, half decrying ethical quicksand. Body swap revenge. Justice or just psycho? Debatable. Deliciously. Rita vanished again, poof. To the old country. She winked, leaving a parting gift. A locket. Plain silver. Engraved balance restored. No serpent. No strings.
But the twist?
It slithered in months later. Innocuous as a certified letter. Chad's trial loomed. But pre-trial psych eval leaked. Dissociative identity whispers. Claims of persistent swap echoes. Bullshit. Right? Until Emily's call. Voice quavering. Mom.
He's
Asking for you. Says he knows things. About Dad.
Dad.
The ghost I'd buried deep, run off when Emily was 5. Not bailed. But fled. After Chad's firm unearthed dirt, embezzlement from his construction gig. Framed by a rival. Senior stewing. To acquire his bid. I'd borne that crime too, raising her solo. Whispering he was on a trip, while resentment festered. Chad knew?
How?
Visitation room. Sterile. Plexiglass divide. His face gaunt. Orange jumpsuit mocking the Zegna days. Alexis. No sneer. Just weariness. The watch wasn't the only relic. Dad's safe, codes in my phone. Before you torched it. Files on your husband. He didn't run, he was pushed. By us. Reversal hit like vertigo, not victim. But villain's pawn. Senior. Had dangled a frame to force my silence on an earlier deal, my agency's ad contract. Scrubbed for conflicts. I'd sign the NDA. Buried Dad's guilt, let him vanish to protect Emily's world. Chad inherited the playbook, targeted me to neutralize the loose end. You used it, he rasped. Eyes, those cold blues, flickering something human. My life. Felt good. I leaned in, mic crackling. Better than your bruises on her skin.
But yeah.
Power corrupts. Harrington. Even secondhand. He laughed.
Hollow. Touché.
But the truth? You're like me now. Willing to destroy for love. The guard tapped time. As they led him away. His parting shot. Tell him. Or I will. Dilemma. Shatter her illusions. Or let the lie linger. Controversial endgame. Honesty as final revenge. Or mercy as cop-out. Months ground on. Trial came. Guilty on all. 15 years. Minimum. Emily walked the stage. Diploma in hand. Her designs turning heads at Fashion Week. We toasted on the fire escape. City lights winking approval. But the letter burned. Dad. Alive in Reno. Mechanic now. Waiting for forgiveness. I'd borne his shame. Now. Release it? I chose truth.
Sat her down.
Words tumbling. The frame. The NDA. How Chad's empire echoed the rot that broke us first. She cried, rage. Grief, but hugged tight. We break cycles.
Mom.
Not bear them. Happy? Tragic? Debatable. Chad rotted in Sing Sing. Writing manifestos on soul debt. Victoria faded to society pages. A cautionary ghost.
Me?
New gig freelancing copy. Emily's loft mate. The watch's shards buried in the garden. Revenge's aftertaste. Bitter. But earned. In America, we love our comeuppances, Hollywood endings where the underdog flips the script. But real life's grayer, Scars fade.
but itch.
And in quiet moments, I wonder, if the serpent circled back, would I win it again? For her? Hell yes. That's the controversy, love's dark edge, where salvation blurs with sin. The end? Not vanished, but transformed. $100,000 wedding to $0 empire. Only important people. Indeed, survivors.